Notorious B.I.G., Andre 3000, Old Kanye, Kendrick, Jay-Z, Q-Tip. 7th favorite rapper here. Right here, Nur-D. It's him.
Yo.
He's here. But I don't know, after today's performance, you might be my first favorite
Oh my
rapper.
goodness, we bumping up.
Was a tremendously
Jay-Z, I'm
amazing.
coming for you.
Yeah. Jay-Z. Just a huge hip hop nerd, like jamming to you and 4 string players and DJ Hayes. What up? Matt Allen, Ryan. What up?
Hello.
Good to be here. Local show.
Yeah.
And we are promoting that you are performing with the Minnesota Orchestra.
Yeah.
It's
dope.
Oh my gosh, that's incredible.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, I can think of, I was like kind of, studying up, and I was just like thinking about how, you came from doing hip hop battles and winning them.
Yes. The open mic, shout out to Shut Up and Rap from the former Go 93.
Yep.
We out here, and that was where I started. Just like on the pallets at Modest Brewing, just doing my best to rap, and I didn't even know Hayes yet.
No.
You know what I mean? I barely had 2 songs to rub together at that point.
Dang.
You know what I mean? But that was only, 5-6 years ago now?
I think it's 6 years ago now.
6 years ago
It would
now?
have been 2018.
Yeah. Wow.
So and then on to Soundset.
Yep.
Then on to Best New Bands.
Yep.
Then on to Paisley Park.
Yep.
And on
Everywhere.
Everywhere.
We hit everywhere. Timberwolves, the State Fair. We opened for Ludacris. Like, we've done so much.
Oh my gosh,
in a
that's insane.
6-year period. It's kind of wild to think about.
I'm like excited. I feel the fun and the energy. Yeah, tell me about what's making this one especially special. The orchestra. Yeah,
I've never performed this scale of like musicianship, concerts, pageantry. It's more than just a show. I think me and Ryan, we've both been working really hard to put this thing together, along with Andy Thompson and Sarah Hicks and everybody at the Minnesota Orchestra, really to expand what both a Nur-D show can look like and what a Minnesota Orchestra show can look like. It's super dope. I'm very excited.
Oh my gosh, you're just surrounded by musical virtuosity.
Yeah.
And large numbers. They're just everywhere.
Everybody.
Yeah.
It's chocked full of it. Just talent on talent on talent on talent. It's fantastic.
Does anything intimidate you these days? Gosh.
Well, honestly, when I got the email, I didn't think it was real.
Yeah.
I've said that a million times, and I'll keep saying it because, here I am. I'm doing a lot. I'm doing a lot of stuff, but you just don't expect it. Like, hey, I'm a Grammy Award-winning symphonic orchestra hitting you up in your Gmail.
Yeah.
Like, hey, do you want to come and do this thing? And I was just like, okay. But then it was real. And so the imposter syndrome is real. I think it's definitely been hitting at certain points. But again, it's the collaboration, it's the talking and them assuring me, them being so willing to do kind of anything that we wanted to try and do has been so helpful in thinking and helping me realize that, hey, this weird thing that you got going on is people are interested in it. Like, they actually want to vibe with you. And so these professional musicians doing it is just a cherry on an already really delicious Sunday. That is my career so far.
Indeed. Anything you'd add about this experience for you?
Yeah, this whole experience has been definitely new. For me, like, beat matching the drum tracks to an orchestra is definitely an intimidating task a little bit. But like, even after today, like, everything feels like it's way more easier. I'm way more prepared than I thought I was. And they've been very helpful too, creating the click tracks and getting all of our gear set up and all that for what we need. So yeah, it's been an awesome experience, and it's in the hip hop space. It's something that you don't really think of as an option when you start setting your goals. So yeah, like he said, having them reach out versus this being something that we have to like beg for is definitely crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, no, we were talking about how like when the first time y'all played here, it was 2019.
Yeah.
It was just the two of you
For real.
doing Take My Picture and Black Wizard Wave. I remember watching that video and being like, wow, this dude's rad.
That was so funny. I remember when those videos came out of the old ones we did. I had people in the comment section. Someone said, "This is the best episode of Rosemont High School's Irish Update that I've ever seen." Because I used to do the morning announcements.
Oh, really?
And so that's what they thought. They're like, "Wow, look at this!" And so to think like. It's fun to bring that energy to this new stage, you know what I mean? We're bringing so many people from my past even to this show, and I don't want to give it away, and we totally already have everything written and it's already done. But like there's a lot of really cool stuff from my past and our present and future. It's going to be really cool.
Well, I heard via video that Yo-Yo Ma is going to be doing face painting in the lobby.
Yep.
So obviously you don't want to miss.
Along with Judy Dench, if I remember correctly.
Dame Judi Dench.
Yeah, Dame Judi
Dame
Dench.
Judi Dench.
Yes, that's exactly that one. Her and Michael Caine, if I remember correctly, they're doing a b-boy class as well. So if you're into those things.
Like,
sign up.
This might be
Sign up.
Something worth your time.
I would be into it.
Yeah. What is so fun about this is like you have the leadership of experience of leading a band. Your band is big.
Yeah, no,
already it's big.
13
so like,
of us all together. Yeah, Friendly Neighborhood Spider Band. Shout out.
And so now, of course, you're having to execute your leadership qualities even to a bigger degree. You're not obviously doing the conducting or the arranging, but you're still. This is your music. What is? Tell me something about. Leadership to you and how that might look as a band leader.
It is very different. I think when you work with a group of people that are your friends, you've known forever, you know, a lot of us kind of came up doing high school band and like just, you know, we're church band and we just sort of like decide to keep doing that for what we're doing. But this is a different sort of energy. I'm thankful for Sarah and her leadership abilities and Grant and his leadership abilities for like this massive amount of people. Yeah. I think a lot of it is coming in with humility, remembering like, hey, this is someone else's house. Right. You know, like the orchestra has been a staple, been a foundation for such a long time. I'm a guest, I'm coming in. But just like that, hip hop is it is a black art form. Yep. And then so for many of the players, they are guests in this genre. Sure. And so it's kind of a mutual respect for each other's homes and then working in that environment. And so just communication, being cool, being willing to just go, I don't know that, teach me. Yeah. I think is an amazing leadership quality. Yeah. And that's what I try to emulate. Do you think I do that, Ryan? I lead you off.
I think you do that well.
Yeah, Ryan.
I told him to say that.
You know, you two are usually the core, basically, of the group, and now you tell me more about this experience of feeling like as a part of this, and then growing your band and being in all different iterations of performing with Nur-D.
Yeah. So I think how many people was the band when we first started?
When we first started, I think it was only
modest.
It was like five.
Like 5 or 6.
Yeah.
It's been really cool to see the band grow and in not only in size, but also just like in skill through rehearsing and through leadership from Matt. To the point now where like we're all doing solo sections and we're vamping out tracks because when we first started it was like go to the end of the track and then we're done and then go to the next song and then when the track's over we're done. So it's just been really cool seeing how your leadership qualities have grown everybody as individual instrumentalists and then also just in general as musicians. But combining that with this experience with the Minnesota Orchestra, he's like one of those guys that's always got everything up in his head.
Yeah, I love it.
And it's just, so you're like trying to, sometimes you're like, oh, I know exactly what you're trying to go for, and then sometimes you're like, what'd you just ask me to do?
I'm very much like the person who tells everybody what they want through sound effects.
Yeah.
That's kind of my vibe. So I'll be like, I kind of wanted to go bop, bada boom, boom, and then a whoosh. Yeah. You know what a whoosh is? And then the light guy is like, none of my things make noise. So I'm going to need you.
That's the perfect way to put it.
Use a different form of communication. And I'm like, okay, all right, I'll figure it out. So yeah, that's definitely our bit.
This is so great. Well, yeah, and I mean, yeah, you guys are, of course, there's going to be surprises there.
Oh,
but
there's plenty of surprises.
I love the teasers that have been coming out with
So much fun.
the dancing with the
violas.
With the violas. Mm-hmm. Obviously, intonation is needed in orchestra, but so is choreography. Mm-hmm. And so, are you going to? Well, tell me about. Maybe give me a little bit of secrets into. What would you want to share?
That's a good question. I'll tell you this. I'll tell you this about the show. You're going to see a lot of very random stuff.
Okay.
The blast from the past.
Ooh.
You're going to see people like you've never seen them before. Mm-hmm. And I also it is my foray into like crafting a show that's more than just 12 songs. You know what I mean? There's going to be a lot more going on. Mm-hmm. And I shout out to my time in the theater world. You know, I did a little bit of theater in high school and college. I was Horton, the elephant in Seussical, if you must know.
Yeah.
But no, like spending time in theater and spending time around that atmosphere, and even in the like the TTRPG community, you know, shout out to my Dungeons and Dragons people. Like, it's been fun to like be able to bring that theatricality to the show. So you're going to see a lot of stuff like that.
Oh my gosh, exciting. Yeah, that what I wanted to expound upon that is that your music works well with an orchestra because it is layered and it's dynamic, especially as a front person. You can sing, you can dance, you can rap, you can hype, you can do all these things, and then you have the best facial expressions, and then you know how to touch on a lot of different emotions in your music as well. Love, humor, heartbreak, all of that. What did I want to ask about that? Your branding also is on fire.
Oh, thank you.
That's the other thing. Yeah, this like whole rounded package of Nur-D is so amazing. And maybe take me into what music is to you and how it comes out in this so many different forms of emotion and expression.
I remember when I was young, we were helping a friend move, a family friend move, and I was like maybe like 8, and I sat in this empty room, and there was a little combination cassette CD player, if you want to know where we're at financially, and in there was a CD of Songs in the Key of Life by Stevie Wonder. I randomly I never heard of this person before, and because I was young, and I went to track 7, and if I remember correctly, that was Sir Duke. And I remember sitting there and listening to Sir Duke in just like an empty, nothing else was in the room, and the music came on, and I remember as a kid, I sat there. I couldn't be moved. All I could do is sit there and listen to it. I played it over and over and over again because I said to myself, how does one make something so beautiful? I didn't know that music could do this. I didn't know that sounds could do that. Right. You know, and I just sat and I listened and I listened again. I listened again. And I listened again. And I've been chasing that feeling my whole life. Wow. You know what I mean? Just like I want to be able, even though my songs are very different, sometimes they're this kind of way and this kind of way. I talk about a bunch of stuff. My hope is that one day there's some kid helping their family friend move. There's a combination, you know, iPod and, you know, air fryer, and you know they click on one of my songs. I don't know, you know what I mean? The eye fryer, and they put on one of my songs, and they sit and they just take a second to. I can pay that forward to someone else because music. Ryan is like big into music, the technical stuff, even more than I do. He'll tell me about like frequencies and range and stuff, and music can really affect people. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess for me it's similar. It's kind of like my favorite part about music is not only just like the creating process, but more so the performance. I would say it's like a release.
Yeah. That's real.
You know? Mm-hmm. For me, starting out in music, I was always listening to music when I was a kid. I kind of grew up in like a loud home, And so a lot of times music was like a, put the headphones on and escape.
Sort of escape, yep.
Type situation. So it's kind of like its own world to me. And so that's kind of my favorite part about it. Like creating it, performing it is kind of like for a little bit of time you're building this space and everybody's kind of sharing that space while that music's happening.
Amazing. Yeah. How did you two find each other?
Well, Hayes, how did you find me?
So I had been playing like a lot of local shows around since like 2015, 2016. And I was starting to get into like producing more records as well. And so I was like kind of making it my job to know everybody who was doing this around town. And then Shut Up and Rap started happening. And I kept seeing his tag on Twitter like every week. Like he won again.
Amazing.
And I was like, I have no idea who this is. So they came out of nowhere. So I was already intrigued. And so I actually, we ended up getting booked on a show together in 2018. Shout out to Christopher Michael Jensen.
Yes,
he was throwing a Get Out the Vote show at Honey, and I was the house DJ for the night. And I think you still only had like 3 or 4 songs.
Yep.
So you just did a tight 15, and that set to me was just, I was like, wow. I was like, now I get why they're winning. Why they're winning all this stuff. Like the energy was so the opposite of what everybody else was bringing. It was positive. It was uplifting. It made you feel good. And so then I booked him on a show that I was throwing regularly called Bars and Brews at Dayblock Brewing.
Yeah.
And that was actually really funny because the other people I was throwing the show with, I was like, don't make him open. Because they were like he's new, right? And not everybody knows who he is yet.
Oh,
but I was like, don't make him an opener. They did. Big mistake.
Big mistake. Of course.
I love opening a set. I'll say this because I love opening. I love opening sets because it's one of the few times when you get to really be like, hey, this room is cold. Mm-hmm. It's cold, and you've been there. Like the room's cold. No one's like ready to do anything. And it's almost for me like this is how I can know where I'm at without any extra things, because it's a hype room is hype.
Yep.
Right. So like when you get on a hype room, it's kind of just like don't kill the vibe is your only job.
Exactly.
Though when you're an opener, your job is to set the vibe, and so I liked it. And doing Bars and Brews was really fun because a lot of talented people on that bill. Yeah. But it was a lot of like, all right, I'll show you. And I remember the times that we were rocking together and no one was really scratching like that at the time. Like, maybe they were, I just didn't get a chance to work with them. Yeah. But like, no one was really scratching like that. And so I just was like, hey, do you want to do that?
It was actually the Currents Printer Stellar in 2019 at Modest was the first show we played together.
Yeah, that was like our first like official thing, and it was a blast. And we did a whole Star Trek thing. Yeah, and he had never done costumes
I think
before.
I texted you a couple days later, and I was like, because it was more of like we'll just do this one and let's see how you feel about it. Because I was kind of on the fence at first.
And I'm weird, so I was like, hey, this is just I'm weird. So you can just leave if you're not into this.
And I texted him a couple days later, I think, and I was like, that's the most fun I've ever had. So I was like, let's do it.
Yeah, and then the rest is history. Yeah, we've been playing together ever since.
That's amazing. Yeah, y'all are great dynamic duo. But okay, I want to ask a funny question that I get also as a rapper. And it's usually from an older white person.
I love it.
Shout
out. Nice.
How do you say, or how do you memorize all those words? How do you get all those words? That's so many words. So many words. It's just a lot. Weird. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to tease you. If you asked him that, that's fine. It happens. It's like a good question though.
Yeah, it is a question because I think we're all musicians. We're all at least we're rappers. Yep. Are you a rapper? Is there any way that anyone could ever hear you rap?
No, there's
DJ
not.
Hayes? There's not nowhere.
Nowhere.
If I were to pull it out from my phone right now, this interview
there would be no way for anybody to know.
But one of the rapping is not easy. Right. Like it's a lot to know. I've done since I came out in 2018. How many? We have had 9 projects, 9 full-length projects, none of which have had any less than 10 songs on them. Not to mention
20
singles. Yep. One of them's got 20 tracks on them. So over 100 some songs is a lot to memorize. There's a lot to know. So when people ask me, how do you memorize all those words? My answer to them is, I don't. I don't remember a lot of them. Sometimes I have to like go in the green room. I'm going over them, like because I wrote them. Yeah. and I just kind of wrote them, and I did it for the album.
Yeah.
And then they're not ones that I perform all the time. So
yeah, sometimes you'll be like that. But then you fake your way
through it. And sometimes it's just like, I have been at many a show looking out on a sea of people.
Yeah.
And I see someone rapping word for word. And I've looked at them and go like, that is the next word. Good. Like I'll use them as like, okay, yeah. As long as I'm on step with this person, I think I'll be good. And I've had people look at me like, that's not the right word.
Like, you got it wrong.
You got it wrong.
Most of the time, if you just say it with confidence, you're fine.
Well, I mean, yes. Again, though, like majority of people wouldn't know that. They would be like, "You sound so perfect," and when it comes out, it's just like,
just smile your way through it. If someone's come to see you, that's what I tell all the new artists or people who are nervous about that sort of thing. If someone's paid money to see you, or even if they've taken time, their irreplaceable time out of their life to come see you, chances are, if you say pineapple instead of grapefruit, they're not gonna care. So just have fun. Keep having fun with it and you'll be fine.
Exactly. Well, gosh, it's been such a pleasure to chat with you both. Oh my gosh. What else can I know about y'all coming up in the future that I can look forward to plan the local show, et cetera, et cetera?
Okay, well, let's see, because this is coming out before we do the orchestra show. So other things that are coming up, we're going to be at Basilica Block Party. That's super cool. So we're excited about that. We have a bunch of shows. We're going to be at Wild Nights at the Minnesota Zoo. Yeah. So that's going to be super dope. Am I missing any like really fun shows that I'm not saying?
No.
There's a lot of fun shows.
So. Yeah, there's a lot.
Like if you go follow me everywhere at Nur-D Rocks, N-U-R-D Rocks on everything, or nurdyrocks.com, you can find a list of where our shows are at. We got a lot of really dope stuff coming up. Yeah. So I'm super excited.
And May 18th, I'm starting a new residency at the Uptown VFW.
Oh, snap.
10 to 2.
What does that entail?
It's called Shake. It's like a hip-hop, R&B, disco, funk house night.
Nice.
So it's going to be DJ focused. We're going to bring some performers in later on. It's going to be a whole party.
Yeah,
okay, cool.
It's a real big party.
Well, I'll definitely have to plug that on the local show.
Be ready for that.
Oh, thanks, guys, so much.
Peace.
Matt Allen, Nur-D, DJ Hayes. Let's go.
The Current is public media made possible thanks to member support.